He would do a lot of foul shit. Like behind the scenes, he would do some foul shit. Like
one person who was always anti-Diddy and was always speaking about Diddy as a problematic person was 50 Cent.
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
Puffy was playing with your booty in Miami.
Diddy, once the epitome of an untouchable music mogul, is now facing a courtroom showdown that could ruin everything he's built. From red carpets to boardrooms, for over 30 years, he's been the face of success, the man who played the game and always won. But now, everything's falling apart. In a trial that could expose his darkest secrets, one man, 50 Cent, has stepped in to make sure the world knows the truth. This is the shocking breakdown of how Diddy's empire is crumbling before our eyes.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know
He did it.
you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually. But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated.
Was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day?
I'm just not with all that flicky shit. Like all of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say basic or normal.
Now, Fifth, when you continuously call Puff gay, does that affect your relationships in Hollywood?
I don't call him gay. I said.
Let me read it, Fifth.
Oh my God.
Sorry I can no longer help you guys. Soon you will all be gay and happy. You are all now left under leadership of Puffy Daddy. Report to the nearest rainbow. Dinner Thieves in theaters January 19th.
That's why he says things. He doesn't even know what he's saying is like fruity. You know what I'm saying? Like he says something fabulous and he goes, "Yo, but me and you, we ain't party. Like we need to party." What is he talking about? That's the kind of stuff that when people say that to me, I get a little uncomfortable. I get uncomfortable. Like he said something to me one time, a long time ago, at Chris Lighty's wedding. He told me he'd take me shopping. I looked at him like, what'd you just say? Let me move, man, before I do something. You're gonna make me mess up the wedding.
Oh, that's a nice gesture.
Let me get out of no, dude, take me. That's what a guy says to a girl.
Sean Diddy Combs has been the ultimate power player in Hollywood, always in control, always cool under pressure. His public persona has been carefully crafted over decades, creating an image of the perfect mogul, suave, untouchable, and always a step ahead. The world saw Diddy as the man who never cracked, the face of Bad Boy Records, a mogul who would turn everything he touched into gold. But now, in 2023, the cracks in his armor are starting to show. This is not just any trial. This is a battle that pits Diddy against his former lover, Cassie, and the evidence she is bringing forward could potentially change everything. Cassie's accusations of abuse have brought Diddy into a courtroom he never expected to be in. In this case, every detail matters, and every slip-up could cost him everything. This trial was not just a legal proceeding. It was the moment when Diddy's carefully constructed empire was placed under a magnifying glass. No one, not even Diddy himself, could have prepared for what happened next. At first, Diddy was his usual self. He walked into court looking as composed as ever, his designer suit impeccable, his trademark smile ready for the cameras. But then something unexpected happened. The tension in the courtroom was palpable. Diddy's hand shook, his eyes widened. The composed, unshakable mogul that everyone knew started to crack, and witnesses could see it happening in real time. Court reporters and spectators in the room noticed the subtle signs. Diddy's leg bouncing uncontrollably under the table, his fingers tapping nervously against the wood. He was trying to hold it together, but the cracks were already beginning to form. Even his attorney could not help but notice. His face twisted with what could only be described as a mix of fear and frustration. For a man who had spent decades controlling every aspect of his public image, this was the beginning of something far worse than he ever anticipated. The smooth operator who had always managed to charm his way out of trouble was now losing his composure. Then, on day 3 of the trial, something happened that nobody expected. 50 Cent, Diddy's longtime rival, walked into the courtroom. The air instantly shifted. The courtroom went silent as 50 took a seat in the back row. All eyes were on him, but it was not just his presence that had everyone holding their breath. It was what his presence represented, a shift in the power dynamics. 50 was not just a random observer. He was there for one reason, to support Cassie. As Diddy's gaze landed on 50 Cent, his expression changed. changed. The cool, calm exterior he had built up for years seemed to melt away. Diddy's face went completely pale. This was not just another courtroom drama for him, it was personal. He had to face the man who had tormented him for nearly 2 decades.
Happening with Puffy. I know you're not really tapped in, but what
the last thing I saw was like a guy there. He was like, yo, he like pushed me into the truck. It really hurt. And he sounded me. Like he sounded me. I was like, yo, look, I could find other things to do for my
Did you see the docu-series on Netflix? I can't wait to see this. The other end of that, every person who has tried to speak out about this, who has tried to speak out about the industry, the type of people that are controlling the industry, the attacks that people face from the media if they try to speak out, is always the same. They're called crazy. And an example of one such individual who went through those sorts of attacks is the actor Orlando Brown. He was on Disney, and I remember everyone telling us that he was totally insane and deranged when he was saying a lot of things that at the time sounded crazy, particularly about Diddy. Take a listen.
Tell him the story.
Tell him the story. So we talking about rumors, right?
Yeah.
And we, when you Google his name, there's a rumor that pops up that he was Diddy's boy toy.
Oh shit!
Right.
Wait, so this is
so Charlamagne said
it's not true, but I told after he brought up this stuff with you, I said, you know what 50 gonna say when he meets you?
Oh no, I don't know that was going on.
You know,
I can't wait to run into him again.
What you gonna say to him?
Puffy was playing with your booty in Miami.
You know what 50 gonna say to you when he sees? What? I heard Diddy touch the butt.
Yeah. Wait till I see him. Wait till I see him. I'm like, yo. Yeah.
The requirement is you gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new booty in the building, you know he's gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
You can take the, but he won't you.
Diddy, to me, is the fall guy. We are still seeing a major effort to protect the big names, just like with Jeffrey Epstein.
Diddy tried to keep it together. He was visibly agitated, whispering to his lawyers, shaking his leg under the table. His fingers gripped the podium so tightly that his knuckles turned white. Witnesses reported hearing him mumble to himself in frustration, but that was just the beginning. By the end of day 3, Diddy's calm facade completely fell apart. The turning point came when the prosecution presented new evidence. Footage from Diddy's Miami residence showing him allegedly assaulting Cassie. The video, although silent, captured Diddy's violent behavior. He was seen backing Cassie into a wall, shaking her violently, and even pushing her to the ground. The courtroom was stunned. Gasps filled the air. Diddy's reaction was immediate. He stood up, shouting, "That's not what happened." His attorney tried to pull him back, but it was too late. The damage had already been done. The prosecution had just dropped a bombshell, and Diddy's world was about to implode. The video showed him in a light no one had ever seen before. He was no longer the untouchable mogul. He was a man who had lost control. What made this evidence even more damaging was what Diddy had said just the day before. "I have never physically assaulted Ms. Ventura or any woman." The video directly contradicted this statement. As the footage played on the courtroom screens, Diddy's reaction was one of pure anger. His face twisted with rage, his body language screaming that he could not handle the pressure. The courtroom, once filled with tension, now simmered with disbelief. Diddy's entire defense had just crumbled. His team had spent years building a reputation for him as a cool, collected businessman, but in a matter of moments, that image was destroyed.
Wow, they found Kendrick and Wifey.
You know, that's obviously doing shopping. They got the same outfit.
Yeah, it's
true.
true.
In public.
Yeah, that's a nice shirt. Though. It's a nice shirt. All right, so when he said the shopping line, in real life, what did you say?
I said, let me get away from him. Because it was like, he was like, yo, you hot now. Now we got to hang out now. Like, hang out. Yeah. He said, I don't know, maybe I'll take you shopping and I get you some flash and you could give me the hood shit. And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm gonna mess up the wedding. I always say to myself, like, it was Chris Lighty's wedding. He was in Miami. Nori's there. Nori knows this because I looked at him like, yo. People I done business with that he done business with, he would say shit that I was like, he said that to you?
Right.
I was like, yeah, it's all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and niggas don't know what they like till they see somebody with it. So they want the girls after you're done with them and shit.
Yeah, leftovers.
Yeah.
You take your leftovers. A lot of niggas have my leftovers.
was not offended by what I was offended by.
As the footage played and the courtroom atmosphere became more charged, something unexpected happened. 50 Cent was not just a passive observer. His decision to publicly support Cassie, both inside and outside the courtroom, completely shifted the power dynamics in Hollywood. Celebrities who had once stood firmly behind Diddy now began to distance themselves from him. It did not take long for the unfollows to start. Usher, who had collaborated with Diddy on multiple hits, quietly unfollowed him on Instagram. Mary J. Blige, who had been inseparable from Diddy during the Bad Boy era, did the same. Justin Bieber, once a protege of Diddy, removed all their past photos together. The social media battlefield was just the beginning. As more and more celebrities began showing support for Cassie, the tides turned. Lizzo, The Weeknd, and even Drake posted cryptic messages about truth and power without naming Diddy directly, but it was clear who they were talking about. Diddy's legal team was in full panic mode. They had worked for months to build a defense strategy that painted Diddy as the victim of false accusations. But now, with the video evidence and his emotional breakdown in court, their entire approach was falling apart. In a desperate attempt to salvage the case, Diddy's team filed for a mistrial, claiming that 50 Cent's presence had influenced the jury, but the judge was not buying it. The motion was swiftly denied, and Diddy's defense was left scrambling. They had no choice but to change their strategy entirely. Instead of continuing to portray Diddy as an innocent man, they now sought to paint him as a passionate, misunderstood figure. It was a 180-degree shift from their original plan.
I have this thing where I'm conflicted when it takes you 20 years to remember something happened to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I go, oh, so 10 years, 20 years later, that comes back. And it's like all of Puff's problems are coming from the ministers touching little boys.
What you mean?
The laws are the way they are because
Because
look like I've been the crazy guy for a long
they
time.
They say you're a hater. They say you're crazy.
You do this, yeah. And now everybody's complaining. My ass is hurting. There's all this shit that's coming.
50, you can't make jokes about it.
No.
The internet might come for you, bro.
All I'm saying
it might come for
you see it now. All of these complaints. People were damned. They were and pillaged. This was never going on, right? And what do I get for I went through years of a hater. You're a hater. You want this and that. I'm just watching. Like I look at things and go, when you see the new lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay, I go, oh shoot, like. Then I think about it, I go, that had to be there. So when I was saying that he was missing, he just wasn't actively being out there because they was dealing with that.
Wait, do you think there's truth to the Jay thing? There's no way.
Like that, look, like if you say.
Meanwhile, Cassie was no longer the timid woman who had once feared speaking out against Diddy. With the support of 50 Cent and other powerful figures in the industry, she found her voice. She was no longer hiding behind closed doors. She was standing tall in the courtroom, confident in the support she was receiving from all corners of the entertainment world. Cassie's testimony on day 3 was a turning point. She spoke with authority, making eye contact with the jury and detailing her experience with Diddy. For the first time, she wasn't just telling her story, she was asserting her truth, knowing that she had the strength of a community behind her. The trial did not just expose the dark secrets of Diddy's personal life, it revealed the cracks in his empire. His business deals started to crumble. Shares in his company, Revolt Media, dropped by 14%. Major brands began quietly pausing their partnerships with him, and his talent agency put his representation under review. Meanwhile, support for Cassie continued to grow. Female artists who had worked with Diddy in the past began reaching out to her legal team, offering to testify about their own experiences. Celebrities who never publicly commented on legal matters started to show support. Lady Gaga even sent flowers to Cassie with a simple note, "I believe you." As the days passed, the power dynamics continued to shift. Diddy, once an untouchable giant, was now a man whose empire was rapidly unraveling. Cassie, once afraid to speak up, was finding strength in the support she was receiving. And 50 Cent, he kept the pressure on, posting cryptic messages and even announcing a new documentary series, Music Industry Secrets, that many believe will expose the truth about Diddy. The story is far from over. As this case continues to unfold, it's clear that the balance of power in the music industry has shifted. Diddy may have once been the king of Hollywood, but now it is Cassie and her supporters who are rewriting the rules.